want to talk about on the comic book movies? Most underrated. And does everybody pick one out? Did everybody pick one out, by the way? Everybody got one in mind? All right.
Yeah.
All right. Most underrated comic book movies of all time. So I don't know where everybody's going with this. I had one that I don't know if I would call it my most underrated or not, but it was the first one that jumped into my head, so I'm just going to go for it. I don't know if I want to go first though. Does anybody want?
Sorry, you're already going first. Please.
I'm already going first. All right. The one that jumped into my head first, and if I really thought about it, I may come up with another one. But I'm going with Thomas Jane Punisher. I love Thomas Jane Punisher. I think it was done really well. I feel like it gets overlooked a ton. I don't know. I think they just did a really good job with it. From the opening scene. The opening scene is brutal, man. When they drive up the beach, murder this entire guy's family. It's pretty vicious, man. So I think that movie, especially towards the end, as he's going around, you see him like sneaking up behind people, like stabbing him in the back, cutting their throats, shooting them from with arrows. That movie's pretty vicious.
Far better than Warzone, except I will say that Warzone had the guy who looked more like Frank Castle.
Yeah, no, that's true. So that's something I heard, is that Thomas Jane just didn't kind of look the part. And by the way, I should note, John Bernthal for me as Punisher is absolutely perfect. I love John Bernthal in the Punisher series. I think he is spot on. So yes, I would take him over Thomas Jane personally, but I thought Thomas Jane did a great job kind of rolling into that character. And I always looked at the Thomas Jane version of it as being, the initial part of it, that character would eventually get, more worn down, more gritty, more scarred, whatever, as time went on. But I thought that was a great beginning. I loved this whole plot of like how to go back and get back at these guys. I just love Thomas Jane Punisher, so take that for what it's worth. Let's do alphabetical order here. This is what do you got?
Well, I'd have to say Sin City. I mean, I think that's like a very, very good comic book film. It doesn't get nearly enough credit. It was just like so different at the time. Like I thought at that point is like, what's Hollywood going to do after this? This sets like a new bar. I'm like, this is amazing. Like the whole, like with the color, like at certain points, like there was this character that was fully yellow, and the rest is like muted black and white. And there's like, it's just amazing use of color. And then like with the red and just like the grittiness and the tone, it was just awesome. The whole movie around, yeah, it was just totally different.
Very noir, very colorful. Like it was a good usage there, and way to bring it back to Snyder.
I'd almost like to see like something like a Daredevil or something get done like in a Sin City sort of style.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
I could see that happening. Nice one. You know what? I seem to remember when that film came out, it was pretty popular, but like it kind of faded out. Like you don't see it get talked about all that much.
Yeah.
At this point. But yeah, Sin City would be good. All right. Max, what are you going with?
I'm actually going to go with the Blade series. I think that series is less write-offable than basically every other pre-MCU comic film. I think you can follow that one and say that is canon without saying that really destroys anything in any way. I will say it might have gotten a little hokey in some spots with their progression, but they weren't looking for an extended universe at that point, so they kind of had to push it a little. I think all in all, though, they kind of fit the character very well at the time.
I think the first one was I watched them fairly recently. I think they all work really well, right? The first two especially are like.
Yeah, I think they work pretty well all around. They tried to up the scale of the threat every single time, and under the current situation, that would be excessive.
Blade, I still see some people every now and then consider. Where do you guys stand on that? Like, I see people say every now and then that Blade was like kind of the start of the kickoff of this generation of comic book movies. Do you guys think that, or was it more? I tend to go with like X-Men. I'm more of an X-Men with the start.
I don't understand the Blade argument. I think it's X-Men too. That started the whole revolution, in my opinion.
Taylor, what do you think? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, I agree. If you're going to put something that's the start of the modern, it would be X-Men, followed closely by Spider-Man.
because that was right after that. Okay, David, what do you think?
It's kind of in its
Yeah, I
own.
wouldn't want to take it away from Blade, but at the same time, you're looking at what hit culture, and Blade is a little lesser known than when you get to X-Men or Spider-Man. It just can't really be the thing that had the major impact, unfortunately.
I think that goes to your point though, that it goes a little underrated, even though it's
Right.
I think that's why you picked. Well, I think it's a part of why you picked it, at least, that it doesn't kind of get that credit.
Right. It should stand. It's one of the most successful ones from that era that's least separated from acceptable MCU territory.
Right. I could see that fitting in. You're right. I could have seen that movie with very moderate changes being in what they're doing now. I could see that happening. It wouldn't be too far. Taylor, what was yours, man?
Well, I was actually going to say the Thomas Jane Punisher, believe it or not. But I'm a huge fan of Sin City. But if I got to pick another one that no one else has picked, I will go old school with the Phantom with Billy Zane.
Oh, okay. That's an awesome movie.
That was fun, Indiana Jones type set in the 1930s adventure movie.
Now I have to go watch that. I gotta tell you, I don't know if I've watched that whole thing, man. So Indiana Jones.
They did the purple outfit.
Yes, they went all in.
Yeah.
I'll go pick this up. I wonder if it's streaming on anything. So it feels Indiana Jones to you?
Yes, a little bit. It's like Batman and Indiana Jones had a baby.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, I can't argue with that. However, you did have you followed up on Thomas Jane, so I think that's the clear winner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I grew up reading the Phantom comic strip in the newspaper every morning, and then seeing them get brought to the big screen was pretty exciting at the time. But it's a fun movie. It's got a good cast, really good cast, and like I said, they didn't hold back. They went with the full comic. They didn't try to make it edgy or modernize it or any of that, and they just had fun with it. And it's an enjoyable movie.
When did that one come out, roughly?
In the early 90s, I think. It was kind of feeding off the Batman craze.
Some of those movies that came out back then, like that one, if it's well done, I kind of want to watch it now. In fact, I probably will. But it makes me wonder like how it would play now, because I think a lot of these would be way more successful in the current era than they might have been in the mid 90s. Like if the same movie with Wesley Snipes' Blade came out now, it would probably be huge.
Yeah, Blade would be huge if it came out now.
Yeah.
Phantom is kind of comparable to The Rocketeer, if you've seen that. Kind of similar vein of types of superhero movies.
Okay. Fun, man. Well, yeah, good stuff. Anybody have anything to add to that? Because I think we're kind of wrap up here. We're a little over an hour, so I didn't want to hold everybody up too much. Any other final thoughts or anything for anybody? No? We all good?
Really? Yeah.
Okay.
A-Force movie.
You looking for an A-Force movie?
Absolutely.
All right, man. You know what? One of my biggest questions on that was how would that happen? I mean, the best I can get here, because I was trying to think of like how many of these women know each other, or how would they come into contact? Why would they, like, what situation would get them as a team? My current idea is that somewhere around New Asgard, that most of those women. So Captain Marvel would perhaps know Valkyrie, and maybe Jane, like she's around there. You've at least got, some cosmic connection there, and you might be able to get, like characters like Mantis or something like that related to each other, or at least having met each other and having a good working relationship with each other somewhere around New Asgard. That was my current idea, but I don't know where they're going with that. I really wouldn't know right now. We'll see. But anyway, just to kind of wrap things up, thank you guys all again for joining. We're going to leave links to Sakaar and Nowhere below, and we invite, again, anybody listening to join us there, leave your thoughts, and at some point, hopefully join us for a live chat, much like Taylor and Biz have done. So thank you guys again. We're going to stay on here for just a second, but thanks to everybody, and we'll catch you next time.
See you guys.
Thank you.